Y'all know any good plumbers? Because there's a leak around here. I'll see myself out. Chief Justice Roberts calls leak of Roe v Wade ruling a betrayal. Orders the Supreme Court to investigate. Yeah, it looks like there was a early draft. It could have been the discussions that gone on in the earlier part of the year between all the Supreme Court justices when they convened. It looks like Roe v Wade is going to get overturned. Now, what does that mean? Well, it just means that there's not going to be federal jurisdiction for access to abortions, okay? So what does that really mean? It just gets kicked down to the states, okay? And then it just becomes a state's issue. So whatever, really. I don't really care. Like, it gets overturned. Great. It was a bad fucking ruling to begin with. It was a huge judicial overreach. And you know what? Hey, my opinion's not unique. It was also held by Ruth Bader Ginsburg. So I don't know, man. And it looks like it's being held by 5 Supreme Court justices. Your normal split, right? Roberts sides with the liberals like he should. And yeah, it's Gorsuch, Kavanaugh, Barrett, Alito, and Thomas. Apparently, the opinion that was leaked was that of Samuel Alito, and that's just causing people to Sperg out, okay? So this is what I'm concerned about, the leak itself, because this has never happened before, okay? And the outcry that it's causing is exactly why it's happening right now. And this is another one of those signs of the decline and end of the empire, which is when you start to have such motivated political actors and political violence off the back of a complete and total misunderstanding of a situation, because people think that, oh my God, Roe v. Wade gets overturned. That means that every fertile woman is just going to be pregnant all the time, and they're going to be forced to just deliver babies in perpetuity. And it's like, no, that's not even close to being the case. It just becomes a states' right issue. And then you're going to have California, which even Gavin Newsom right now, it's like, no, we're just going to go ahead and enshrine abortions all the way up to 3 months, or 3 years past delivery, or whatever fucking nonsense they're going to do. Just if you guys remember, earlier in the year, the fucking absolute Sperg out on the Texas abortion ban, it was up to 6 weeks, and it had specific carve-outs for criminal acts and life-threatening issues for the mother that caused the pregnancy. So it's really just a huge misunderstanding. So yeah, even if it does get overturned, it becomes a states' right issue, and it really doesn't fucking much matter. I'm just concerned about the leak itself. The Supreme Court on Tuesday responded to the leak of a draft ruling and confirmed its authenticity, issuing a statement from Chief Justice John Roberts, who called the leak a betrayal of the confidence of the institution. On Monday evening, Politico published a purported draft copy of the court's ruling, which suggested that the landmark abortion law Roe v. Wade would be overturned. The Supreme Court confirmed the document's authenticity, but said the draft does not represent a final decision by the court on the final position of any member in the case. So, according to the decision, and Politico said that it's already been voted on, which just goes to show you that the feminist agitprop is already out there. So, Republicans, oh my God, they're taking away your human bodily autonomy. And it's like, no, that's not even close to being the case. And the fact that it still hasn't been voted on and the decision hasn't been confirmed yet, but they're still running with those headlines, that's the big lie right there. They are purposely lying to you. This is a draft of a ruling, okay? The fact that there's no dissent attached to this just lets you know that it's a draft of a ruling, okay? And yeah, still, if you want to kill babies, all you need to do is just go to a liberal state, okay? You're going to have access to it. Don't worry about it. That's totally fucking fine. To the extent this betrayal of the confidence of the court was intended to undermine the integrity of our operations, Roberts wrote, it will not succeed, adding that the work of the court will not be affected in any way. Really? You fucking serious, dude? Remember when Roberts caved to pressure and then ended up flipping on his opinion when it came to Obamacare? But no, the work of the court will not be affected neither in any way. I'm looking at you, Kavanaugh, because if anybody's going to be flipping on this shit, it's going to be him. Roberts also said that he directed the Marshal of the Supreme Court to carry out an investigation to leak to the individual who leaked it to the press. Should the leaker be identified, they will be hung right outside the Supreme Court. No, I wish, but, you know, it's not clear what punitive actions will be taken against them. Although Roberts said the leak could be considered a significant breach of trust. No shit. We at the court are blessed to have a workforce, permanent employees, and law clerks who are intensely loyal to the institution and dedicated to the rule of law. Until there's something so politically hot, and isn't it just such a big old quinky of a goddamn dink, because we're in May of an election year and something landmark happens. Because what happened in 2020, okay? What happened in May of 2020? George Floyd? Interesting. That was May 25th. Okay, cool. So that was at the end of the month. No, at the beginning of the month, you have a big leak of this, okay? One of those big boogeyman. It's like, oh my God, Republicans are coming. They're going to just take away the rights to your womb, ladies. Oh my God, you need to go out there. You need to break everything down. That's why they're putting up razor wire all around the Supreme Court because, yeah, we're having a fair and honest, open discussion on this. It just seems awfully coincidental. And we might be ending up with another summer of love for a righteous cause once again. According to the draft opinion, authored by Justice Samuel Alito, we hold that Roe and Casey must be overruled, referring to the 1992 ruling Planned Parenthood v. Casey. Yeah, by overturning Roe v. Wade, you immediately just get rid of Planned Parenthood v. Casey because that was all decided off the back of Roe v. Wade, so it's just a compound decision, so it all just gets thrown out in the wash. It's time to heed the Constitution and return the issue of abortion to the people's elected representatives. Yeah, exactly. Can't rule from the bench. yeah, tell that to gay marriage. Later this year, the court is slated to issue a ruling on the connection to a Mississippi law that bans most abortions after 15 weeks of pregnancy. Yeah, no, there's a complete abortion ban in Mississippi. 15 weeks. Mississippi's Attorney General's office has urged the justices to use the case to overturn Roe v. Wade, which has argued that a woman has a constitutional right to obtain an abortion. Yeah, isn't that wonderful? Judicially enshrined right for a woman to have unilateral choice over life. No, it's my body, it's my choice. Yeah, well, it's my DNA, because you just don't get spontaneously pregnant, stupid. Fucking hate that argument. Makes no goddamn sense. We emphasize that our decision concerns the constitutional right to an abortion and no other right. Alito, a George W. Bush appointee, also wrote, according to the draft published by Politico, nothing in the opinion should be understood to cast doubt on precedents that do not concern abortion. Alito's opinion, which Politico claimed is shared with the other justices in February, yeah, that's when the draft was proffered to be written at that time, was labeled as the first draft. There's no suggestion that other members of the Supreme Court who may have voted to overturn Roe v. Wade agreed with Alito's arguments. Yeah, no, there's not a formal vote that has happened yet. Fuck's sakes. There's also a history of Supreme Court members having sought revisions of their draft opinions or have ever reversed their initial votes. On Tuesday, Democrats did not address the apparent breach of the Supreme Court protocols and instead focused on mobilizing their supporters into voting for politicians. Yes. Exactly. They're not going to, it's like, no, the whistleblower. Yeah, we'll just, once we figure out who it is, we're just going to go ahead and herald you as some sort of a hero because, I don't know, women's rights and all that fucking nonsense. Well, let's just take a look at the little spontaneous protests that popped up, okay? And it's always the same fucking motley group of individuals. Protesters gather at Supreme Court and take a look at how well attended these are. Because in case you didn't know, abortion is not that popular with the general population. Oh, it's super popular on Twitter and Instagram and all the little fucking ridiculous corners of the earth, but regular people aren't exactly on the side of infanticide, okay? It's really pronounced too in minority areas because, yeah, no, they might vote, okay? Especially black populations, they might be predisposed to be voting Democrat, but their social conservatism, their love for the church is very well pronounced. And you want to talk about a group that's not exactly supportive of abortion or even supportive of, let's just say, alternative lifestyles. Yeah, you'll get some spicy language coming out of that, and especially in Hispanic areas as well for the exact same thing. So the only people who are overwhelmingly happy with abortion, okay, who are out there ever protesting, it's liberal white women who are never going to get an abortion to begin with, and then they're simps. That's it. Hundreds of people gathered outside the Supreme Court building early Tuesday to voice their reaction to the leaked draft ruling by the court, which signaled a landmark abortion statute, Roe v. Wade, to be overturned. Oh, we'll just show you some pictures of the hundreds of people who turned out to protest. One of the protesters, Patrick Mahoney, Chief Strategy Officer for Stanton Public Policy Center, a pro-life organization, reacted to the leak of the draft opinion, calling it deplorable. The Supreme Court should not be manipulated or politicized, he told the Epoch Times. We are thrilled that Roe v. Wade is coming to an end. We are thrilled that Roe will end up in the scrap piece of history. Yeah, exactly. Abortion rights supporters, however, are upset by the ruling, which would put an end to the federal protection of abortion rights and leave the decision to the states. Yeah, exactly. But these fucking idiots think that, oh my god, that just outlaws abortion everywhere. Like, you take a look at this fucking crusty crotch with a fucking coat closet in between her legs. Unless she already has the punch card to Planned Parenthood. Chances are she's not going to need it. But no, abortion is a human right. No, it affects a human. Two, in fact. And then that second individual probably also has other human rights, like, the right to life. And then you got this confused idiot. Discrimination is not a Catholic value. It's not doctrine. We're Catholics for choice. Okay. Then you have Chief Wampum out there. It's like, oh yeah, Catholics support abortion access. No, they don't. Bans off our bodies. Abortion saves lives. I would beg to differ. But as you can see, the hundreds of people that turn out, because abortion for the general population is not popular at all whatsoever. It's in fact the opposite. That's the type of people you get, okay? The people who, even if they do become pregnant, it would be high-risk pregnancies, so they would have a bitch of a time fucking carrying anything to term to begin with. But no, they're just so heavily indoctrinated that they literally believe that Roe V Wade going away would just take every contraceptive off the market. They're totally fucking retarded. So back to the leak itself, there are 63 potential leakers, and the FBI could get called in for the investigation, which they probably should, okay, instead of just faking fucking kidnapping attempts, and maybe they should, I don't know, get to work on something important. There was one guy who was thrown out there to have potentially been the leaker, who I don't know his name. I've seen a couple of little stories out there. He was apparently a law clerk, or still is a law clerk of Justice Sotomayor. It all fits just a little bit too conveniently, and the only evidence that it could be that person is because they had an interview with the person who published the article in Politico. It's a link, but it's not that strong if we're being completely fair about this. Supreme Court justices should immediately issue their official opinions in Dobbs v. Jackson, following a bombshell leak of a draft opinion in the case that would overturn Roe v. Wade, according to a key figure in a recent major congressional judicial battles. The leaked draft indicated that 5 justices agreed, at least as of February date, to the draft in deciding Dobbs v. Jackson to underdo 1973's Roe v. Wade decision. Doing so would return the power to decide abortion policy to state governments, where this decision, Dobbs v. Jackson, which is the Mississippi abortion law, calls that into question, because there's nothing in the Constitution that enshrines abortion as a human right. In fact, this becomes a pretty extensive 10th Amendment issue, states' right issue. Federal government cannot impose anything that the states can take care of themselves, the result of which abortions would generally be available in some states and much less available, or perhaps not at all, in other states. Yeah, exactly, because abortion, when it was first proffered, was supposed to be the last-ditch effort. It was supposed to be available, but also very rare and very uncommon. And now it's just apparently wanted to be on demand, okay? Hoover's supposed to offer a special attachment, okay? But again, this is about the leak, which is also what the pro-choicers are saying as well. Over the past several years, we have watched the radical left become increasingly brazen in their attempts to delegitimize and bully our nation's highest court. Yeah, no, exactly. You remember all of the insurrections that happened when Kavanaugh was being confirmed? All of the houses, the state houses, even the U.S. Capitol, which was overflown by a bunch of cat piss stinking fat fucks. You remember that? Yeah, it wasn't that long ago. This unprecedented leak is a stunning, shameful, and likely illegal attempt to obstruct the court's deliberations on a pending case, and it puts the lives of the justices in danger. Yep. Because, hey, you remember, there's been a justice in the headlines lately. Yep. One that the left has been very, very, very vocal about trying to get impeached, trying to have step down, trying to have retire. One that was just recently hospitalized as well. The longest serving justice on the Supreme Court and the baddest motherfucker on that court. That would be Clarence Thomas. What's to say, okay, because it's a 5-4 decision. I don't want to get too grim on this, of course. But let's just say because the decision hasn't been made yet, and maybe it just becomes a little bit too politically hot to decide at this time. What's to say Justice Thomas ends up with the Justice Scalia treatment, and then, hey, that confirmed, just waiting for an appointment, Supreme Court Justice doesn't magically end up taking his spot. Then you end up with a 5-4 decision flipped in the other direction. Because who's to say this leak doesn't make this issue so politically hot that they just kick it off to the next term, okay? Kick it off until the spring session for 2023. And then something funny happens seemingly out of nowhere. Like I said, I'm not hoping for it. I'm just saying that's what these fucking speds are game planning for. To prevent any further harm, the court must issue its decision immediately, and an investigation must be launched to determine who is responsible, Davis said in a statement issued shortly after Politico published the draft opinion, and that is Article 3 project founder, director Mike Davis. Davis is the chief counsel of nominations for then Senate Judiciary Committee Chairman Chuck Grassley, and led the Republican staff during the Senate confirmation battle for Justice Kavanaugh, and a record number of U.S. Circuit Court judges nominated by former President Donald Trump. Davis founded A3P as a nonprofit advocate for constitutionalist judges and the rule of law. Well, if you worked for Kavanaugh, I don't know how high I should hold your opinion. Supreme Court Chief Justice John Roberts should not hesitate to ask the FBI to investigate the leak and help in an overall assessment of the third branch's internal security management capabilities. Heritage Foundation senior legal fellow Hans von Sapolsky told the Epoch Times. At least it's not the Federalist Society. The Chief Justice should immediately ask the FBI to investigate this shocking breach of confidentiality for the work to be done by the court. It could not function without the confidentiality any more than the law firm could function if it had law clerks who leaked the firm's internal communications, work product, and privileged materials. Yup, exactly. And heading into the weekend, depends on what sort of fiery but mostly peaceful protests happen, because dude, the Sperg out is going to be incredible. Okay, I know it's only Tuesday, but if this goes unaddressed, uninvestigated, and nobody gets a definitive answer on this one way or another, it's going to be a very, very interesting time. Because the Democrats are stupid enough to try to campaign on this. Oh, see, Republicans, the conservative Supreme Court, they're trying to take away women's rights. And we need to stop them because they're bad. They'll drag it out as long as possible. You don't think they're that fucking petty? Just give them the opportunity. So yeah, there's a leaker in the high court. It is totally 100% unprecedented. And one side wants to stop this from happening. Which is justifiable, because just the internal communications between the justices shouldn't be leaked until everything is made final, and then they release it, because that's how decisions are done and made and has been for the past 250 plus fucking years. And then meanwhile the other side is, yeah, just campaigning on a fucking obvious psyop, whatever. With all that said, thank you all very much for the gift of your time. I've been Don Consuelo. Why don't you follow your gut and get after it. Take care, everyone.